The Queen has officially opened the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, urging it to reform to remain relevant. The most dramatic change announced today relates to succession, with the crown to be passed to the firstborn child of future monarchs, regardless of that child's gender. But there's unlikely to be agreement on proposals for the meeting to establish a Commonwealth Human Rights Commissioner. Political correspondent Tommy Gooden reports from Perth.
Guy Sebastian headlined CHOGM's All Singing, All Dancing opening ceremony. The pop star and his entourage urged delegates into action.
United we stand, we're giving our all, and we as one. Oh, we'll rise to the call.
The Queen made a similar appeal in her own style.
I have had the good fortune, together with Prince Philip, to attend many CHOGMs over many years. Their importance has always been in precise relationship to their relevance, always being attuned to the issues of the day.
Gay, straight, black, white, marriage is a civil right.
Some of those issues got a rowdy airing outside the summit.
Sri Lankan President Rajapakse! All criminals! Sri Lankan President Rajapakse! All criminals!
Protest organisers claimed a loose affiliation with the Occupy Wall Street movement, but in reality the concerns of the 500 or so protesters were spread over a wide variety of pet issues.
Ever since leaders began arriving here in Perth for the start of CHOGM, there have been questions about the meeting's relevance. But for these protesters at least, it's an opportunity for them to push for their version of change for the better.
We can't expect real action from the Commonwealth bodies. If we're going to see real action, it's going to come from the power of the people on the streets.
But the Prime Minister was determined to put those claims to rest.
We must also be a more agile Commonwealth, equipped to respond when our values are tested and to speak clearly when our voice needs to be heard.
By lunch, she had just such a decision.
This meeting has already acted to embrace reform and strengthening of the Commonwealth.
In its first session, CHOGM voted to give the forum more powers to intervene when democracy begins to fail in a member country.
Rather than waiting until a country has gone to a grossly unacceptable stage and leaders only having options of suspension or expulsion in front of them.
And the forum wasn't done there, changing centuries-old rules about the succession of the royal crown. Now the firstborn of either gender can become monarch.
Put simply, if the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge were to have a little girl, that girl would one day be our Queen. Second, we've agreed to scrap the rule which says that no one who marries a Roman Catholic can become monarch.
Julia Gillard says the changes are overdue.
Just because they seem straightforward to our modern minds doesn't mean that we should underestimate their historical significance. I'm very enthusiastic about it. You would expect the first Australian woman Prime Minister to be very enthusiastic about a change which equals equality for women in a new area.
But the British Prime Minister wouldn't be drawn on another historical change, Julia Gillard's soon-to-be introduced carbon tax.
To misquote the Monty Python sketch, this is an issue not for laying down and avoiding, as it were.
For the record, that Monty Python line's about Australian wines. Tom Iggleton, Late Line.